Number 7. Lauren Stacey. In August of 2019, Lauren Stacey from Swansea, South Wales, was on a girls' holiday to Barbados when she suffered a severe allergic reaction to an increase in body temperature. While exposing herself to the sun, Stacey applied SPF 50 lotion to most of her body but missed a spot on her forehead. Stacey got what she believed was a normal sunburn but woke up the following morning with a severely ballooned face. She was barely able to see out of her left eye while her right one was completely shut. The woman had suffered an allergic reaction called cholinergic urticaria, commonly known as heat bumps, brought on by the difference in temperature her body had experienced. Even though she felt that the reaction had left her looking like a monster, Stacey, then in her mid-20s, was determined to enjoy the rest of her time on the Caribbean island. She wore sunglasses and a hat when going out with her friends, but the drastic change to her appearance was reaffirmed when she went to the airport for her return flight. A digital face scanner failed to recognize her features because of the swelling, but airport security let her through after asking if she was all right. Eventually, after a course of steroids and antihistamines, the swelling reduced and Stacey's face fully recovered. She shared her story as a cautionary tale for others to properly apply sunscreen. Number 6. Daniella Bolton. In December of 2021, Scottish woman Daniella Bolton from Edinburgh was left with lips swollen up to 20 times their regular size after a cosmetic mishap. 24-year-old Bolton went to have her lip filler dissolved to make way for fresh injections. However, she experienced an allergic reaction to the dissolving solution, and after she left the appointment, her lips began to swell by the minute. They'd completely ballooned by the time she got home, and her breathing also became labored. Bolton, who documented the process through photos and videos, went to the doctor. She was treated with steroid tablets, and about 4 hours later the swelling began to subside. Bolton shared her experience with a media outlet to raise awareness of the severe reactions that can follow the procedure, even if those seeking it get a patch test beforehand like she had. Number 5. Estelle. In 2018, a report began circulating online of a French woman only identified as Estelle who'd suffered a horrific reaction to hair dye that nearly ended her life. Speaking to Le Parisien, the 19-year-old attributed it to a chemical called paraphenylaldiamine, or PPD, often found in dark-colored makeup and dyes. Her scalp became irritated almost immediately after application. She took an antihistamine, but the following morning her head had swollen by nearly 4 inches in circumference and into an unusual shape. Estelle would later tell a media outlet, "I could not breathe, I had a light bulb head." Her breathing difficulties stemmed from her tongue becoming enlarged as well. The young woman went to the emergency room where she was given a shot of adrenaline and kept under observation overnight. The swelling eventually went down and she recovered. After narrowly avoiding death, Estelle warned others about the dangers of PPD. According to the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences, the chemical's potentially fatal complications can include renal failure, respiratory distress, and rhabdomyolysis, which is a breakdown of muscle tissue. Number 4. Chantelle Giacalone. In 2013, model and actress Chantelle Giacalone, aged 27, was at a convention in Las Vegas. A friend handed her a pretzel which, unbeknownst to the model, was infused with peanut butter. Giacalone, who suffered from a life-threatening peanut allergy, went into anaphylactic shock and desperately sought help with Mediwec Ambulance, the staff of which was working with the medical stations at the Mandalay Bay South Convention Center. As detailed in a subsequent civil lawsuit, neither of the two medics had IV epinephrine, as required by the Southern Nevada Health District. They did have intramuscular epinephrine, but delayed administering it. They believed the agitated Giacalone was suffering from an altered mental state, in spite of her clearly telling them that she had a peanut allergy and that her EpiPen hadn't given her any relief. Instead of administering the urgent treatment, they checked her blood glucose levels, thus wasting precious minutes in which Giacalone's brain was deprived of oxygen. Only after the model had become unconscious and stopped breathing did the staff administer a double dose of epinephrine. By then, however, it was too late. Since her circulatory system was no longer working properly, her body was unable to pull the medicine from the muscle and into the bloodstream. She was ultimately revived, but her brain, after being deprived of oxygen for a critical period of time, was left irreversibly damaged. Giacalone became a quadriplegic and could only communicate with her eyes, relying on her family for round-the-clock care. In 2021, 8 years after the incident, a jury in the civil lawsuit initiated by her parents agreed that the Nevada ambulance company had been negligent when treating her. Giacalone's family was awarded $29.5 million, a portion of which they stated an intention of donating to organizations benefiting people with brain injuries. They also intended to buy a new home that would facilitate caring for the woman who, because of her condition, wasn't expected to live beyond 55. Number 3. Karen Brammer. Talking to the Daily Mail in 2014, a woman recounted how she'd been on the verge of death an estimated 80 times throughout her life because of her numerous allergies. 40-year-old Karen Brammer had gone into anaphylactic shock dozens of times in the past and revealed that even a trip to the shop could kill her. She had 23 identified allergies, including one to latex, which prevented her from achieving her dream of becoming a nurse. In light of the latter aspect, Brammer built up a gardening business, which she eventually lost due to her allergy to wasp stings. In one incident, she recounted feeling like a spike had been driven through her chest in the aftermath of a sting. Her EpiPen saved her life, but because of her multiple conditions, she required over 4 months to recover from the sting. In her teens, Brammer found that she had an autoimmune disorder that caused her body to attack certain organs. Over time, she developed more allergies and went into anaphylactic shock more quickly. Treating her various conditions was also extremely difficult, as she was allergic to 16 different medications, including tramadol, ibuprofen, and penicillin. Brammer also told the media outlet that she had to plan each day around her allergies and at any given time carried a medical kit with EpiPens, inhalers, antihistamines, as well as a list of her allergies and emergency contacts. Determined not to let her chronic health problems deter her from living a full life, in 2014, Brammer undertook a fundraising bike ride to raise money for the anaphylaxis campaign. Today's topic was requested by Jonathan Quiles, Oliver Mortimer, Ben Weber, and Karen Kehoe. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Owen Kerry. On April the 22nd of 2017, an English teenager collapsed in his girlfriend's arms in front of the London Eye after going into anaphylactic shock. 18-year-old Owen Kerry and his girlfriend had gone to a Byron restaurant at the O2 in North Greenwich. Kerry had grilled chicken which he didn't know had been coated in buttermilk, as the teen was extremely allergic to dairy products. He felt it tasted odd as his lips had begun tingling and only ate half of his meal. An inquest would later determine that the menu at the restaurant listed the 14 common allergens but made no mention of buttermilk. Still, it allegedly met industry standards at the time by instructing customers to inform staff about any allergies. Kerry had reportedly done so but wasn't told about the buttermilk. Roughly 55 minutes after the meal, Kerry collapsed and was unable to breathe as his airways had shut off. A passing paramedic and 2 ambulance crews battled to save his life, but at 4:30 p.m. that same day, he passed away at St. Thomas's Hospital. As of May 2021, his family only received an apology letter from Byron's, but was awarded no damages. Since the incident, they'd begun campaigning for Owen's Law, requesting specific allergen labeling on every menu, but had yet to receive an answer from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. Number 1. Robin Cherry. In 2020, a British woman revealed that she was still suffering from the effects of an allergic reaction nearly a decade after it had first manifested itself. Robin Cherry from Cheltenham in Gloucestershire, England, had saved up to get her hair dyed professionally and made an appointment with a local hairdresser back in October of 2010. She was given a patch test, waited for 24 hours, and once she was seemingly cleared of any risks, went to her appointment. Cherry, then in her early 20s, started to experience a burning sensation in her scalp within minutes of leaving the salon, but decided to ignore it. The following day, she woke up to find that her head had ballooned to nearly twice its normal size. Cherry's mother rushed her to the A&E at Cheltenham General Hospital and would later reveal that the swelling persisted on the drive to the medical facility. By the time they arrived, the young woman's airways had shut and she could no longer breathe. She couldn't see because her eyes had puffed up, while her hair was coming out in clumps as her scalp kept blistering. Cherry's breathing stabilized within 16 hours after she'd been given adrenaline injections and steroids. Doctors would tell her she'd suffered the worst allergic reaction they'd ever seen and that she'd been roughly an hour from dying. Less than a day after returning home, Cherry's airways shut again and she was taken to the hospital. The woman's life was saved once more, but a chemical in the dye had left her body in a constant state of shock, which caused her to develop a wide range of further allergies. These included most foods, spices, nuts, alcohol, and clothing. In May of 2011, she was diagnosed with polymorphic light eruption and solar urticarial, a rare condition meaning she became extremely sensitive to sunlight. Describing the living hell that her life had become, Sherry reported, "I couldn't eat at restaurants, wear nice clothes, or go out for drinks with my friends anymore." She was forced to give up her horse riding company, battled severe depression and became a recluse for several years. The woman would be on strong antihistamines and steroids for the rest of her life. Cherry revealed that had she waited 48 hours instead of 24 for the patch test, the risks of an allergic reaction would have likely been revealed. Thanks for watching. Would you rather develop a potentially fatal reaction to all of your top 5 favorite foods, or only be able to listen to every song once? Let us know in the comments section below.